Hey, it's Mr. Leatherwood, and today we're going to learn what is a fraction, really. So I have a bunch of fractions here. We have 3/5, a third, a half, 5/4, 3/2. We're going to learn what are these things. So let's, 3/5, for instance. We may have learned and probably learned that our top number is our part, our bottom number is our whole. We may have also learned numerator and denominator. Hopefully we learned top numbers are numerator, the bottom numbers are denominator. But did we also know that 3/5 is also the same thing as a division problem? So when we see 3/5, it's really saying 3 divided by 5. We're taking the numerator and we're dividing by the denominator. So we could write it 3 divided by 5. We could also write it this way. A lot of kids say, which one goes inside the box? Like when you're doing division. So we take our numerator and we put it inside the box, and then we divide it by our denominator, 3 divided by 5. We could also say just 3 divided by 5 if we're trying to put it in verbal descriptions. So let's try. So this says 5 divided by 4. What are some different ways that we could write this? Maybe as a fraction, maybe a division problem, maybe a verbal description. Why don't you pause it for just a second, and when you come back, we will talk about the different ways that this could be done. Great. Well, hopefully you've paused it and you've tried it. So let's talk about as fraction first. So we're doing 5 divided by 4. So another way that I could write this is 5 divided by 4. So this is your fraction. What if we wanted to write it as a division problem? So remember, our numerator always goes inside the box. Our first number always goes inside the box. So in this case, I would say 5 divided by 4. And then the last one, if we wanted to write it into words, we could say 5 divided by 4. All right, let's try another one. How about this one? We have 3 divided by 1. What are some different ways that we could write that? Could we write it as a fraction? Could we write it in a number sentence with division? Could we write a verbal description? So go ahead and pause it for a second. And after you get back, we'll go over some different ways that you can do this. All right, well, hopefully you've paused it and tried it on your own. So this says 1 divided by 3. Remember, 1, or the numerator, is going to be inside the box. So for instance, I would say, let's do verbal description first. 1 divided by 3. Move that over. So remember, our numerator is the one that comes first. So it's 1 divided by 3. So if I wanted to write it as a fraction, I would say 1 divided by 3. Or if I was to write it as a number sentence, I would say 1 divided by 3. This is probably my hardest one. I would say kiddos struggle with this one the most because traditionally we read left to right, so we would want to say 3 divided by 1. But we need to remember that our numerator, our top number, is the one that goes inside the box. So I would argue that this one's the hardest one to do. So if you miss this one, don't feel so bad. We'll practice it in class. You'll get better at it. All right, let's try one more. So the last one is our verbal description. It says 3 divided by 2. So I think where I would start is probably do maybe my fraction first. So 3 divided by 2. 3 divided by 2. So then the number sentence should be pretty easy because we could just kind of match what it says here. 3 divided by 2. And then I think the hardest one to do, and maybe it's just me, but just the division kind of problem. So remember, your first number in your number sentence, or maybe your number sentence here, your verbal description, or you could say my numerator, my top number is going to be the one that goes inside the box. So in this case, I would say 3 divided by 2. So again, maybe it's not the hardest for you, but this is my hardest one. So as you're practicing these in class and practicing these at home, really focus on this one. remembering that our numerator goes inside the box, or our first number in our verbal description, or our first number in our number sentence is going to be the one that goes inside the box. I think that's the trickiest one in my opinion. All right, well, hopefully this helps you out. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.